Hi everyone, welcome to this YouTube tutorial on strip set sewing. I'm just going to give you a few tips and tricks for this one. Ones that I use, there's really no right and wrong for this, but I want to show you how to do it. So if we look at the mat, the cutting mat, you can see that I have two strips, and by width of fabric, I mean the entire width of the fabric. So my strips are actually 2 inches by, I'm going to just guess, like 42 inches, because for me, we measure in centimeters here. But anyway, this is 2 by 42, and each one of these is 2 by 42. And I'm gonna show you how to get straight seams and everything. So we'll come back to this. Let's move to the sewing machine, and I'll show you disassembled what they look like. Okay, for these are the same two fabrics, disassembled. And I'm going to put these right sides together at one of the short ends. And I'm going to match them up the whole way down. Okay. They don't have to be perfect, because I'm going to, as I put it through the machine, I'm going to show you some of my little tips to get it through there and to keep it straight. I always have a leader, so I'll just put that through. And now I kind of make a little hole for it to go through, and my fingers, I try to get my fingers so that the sides of it are going to go through evenly. And as I go down through here, I use this hand to straighten it up, to make sure that these sides, can you see these sides? To make sure that these sides along this side match up. They're not matching up down here, so I'm going to hold up here. I actually need to use this hand. And just then carry on down to the end of the strip. A lot of times you might have to go under and pull that second one, that bottom one over. Match up the end, bring this over, and we should be able to sail right through the end. Now we're going to move to the ironing board. Take this piece with us to the ironing board. And I'm going to show you another kind of tip that I use when I iron. This, I might suggest that if you have trouble keeping this straight, that you get an ironing mat that has lines on it, so that you can, I have one somewhere, but that way you can practice, when you open it up, you can practice aligning it on that line. I'm going to show you how to curve it. You don't want to curve it, but I'm going to show you what can happen if you don't line it up and keep it straight down through there. But then I'm going to straighten it back out. I also suggest, but it's totally not important, these wool pressing mats. They make my creases amazing. And if I have two of them together, I can do the whole width in one go. I'm kind of just waffling now until my iron heats up fully again. I think we'll be okay to go. First, I go all the way down with my iron to set that seam. And then I go back through and I hold this bottom one straight as I go out. I want to show you what happens if you just go up through here. You can already see that it's going off at an angle. It just curves right up there. So I'm actually going to just straighten that back out with my iron, and I'm going to carry on to the end, keeping that seam straight as I go. I've gotten to the point where I can just eyeball it to make sure that I've got it straight, but that truly is after a lot of practice with a lined mat under there with the inches on it. Now we're going to take this back to the cutting table, and I'm going to show you how we can easily make a 4-patch. All right, I have 2 strip sets exactly alike. I'm actually going to put them right sides together. I'm going to start from the other end because I pressed it better this way. And then I'm going to mate it like this. I'm going to mate it opposites touching. And while you're in there, you're going to be able to feel that you're going to nest your seams because they're both pressed the same way, away from the dark on this, because this fabric is more forgiving. So I can feel all the way down and feel that it's not mated up there. But anyway, now I'm going to take this, I'm going to go off my seam. Sorry, not my seams. Now for this part, I'm going to pull this down a little bit so we don't fall off. For this part, I do use the lines on my grid to make sure that it's lined up straight. That's all I use those grids for now. But we have a white stitching line in there, and I want my 4 patches to be 4.5 inches, 4 inches finished. So I'm actually going to cut on the 2-inch line for these. Don't trust my math. And I'm going to make sure that I have a line on my seam line, and to make sure that this is lined up over here to give me the 4-patch unit that I want. I'm going to set that aside, do it again, just so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to use the solid line this time instead of the dotted line, just so you can see you can use it either line, whatever is more convenient for you. And I need to scoot it over a little bit. This is going to make my 4-patch the right size. I'm going to open this one for you so you can see it. When I stitch these together, we'll have a perfect 4-patch. The last step on this is just to take it to the machine and stitch it along one side, whichever way is easiest for you, so it still nests your seam in there. This seam goes this way, this seam goes this way, so that seam just nests perfectly right in there, so when it's stitched, you have your perfect 4-patch. I think if you have any questions, just, message me or make it in the comments, and I will respond, and I'll help you as best I can. I hope that this helped you a little bit with your strip sets, and maybe even ironing straight. I know that it was a lot of information. Just good luck.